I think it is. I think it is. I've got experience in a couple different
Repeat the
states.
question, please.
Okay, the question was along the lines of why aren't local planning activities transparent to the people in the neighborhoods? Why do they seem to be biased? Maybe I'm rephrasing towards the developers and the usual suspects. Does that sound? Is that okay, Larry? I would agree, and I would say that again, speaking as the guy from UCA and the guy who just was doing battle with the city of Little Rock, I would say that our failure to spend enough money on the process, and that sounds like, well, he's an insider, so he just wants more money. But let me give you an example. In California or Wisconsin, I would have to put out a public notice before I took an action, and that notice would have to be out for a number of days, and you would all know what we're about to vote on at City Hall. In Little Rock, I had people actually changing agenda items the day of the hearing, and that was okay. We had to get an insider to tell us how the process works so we would know to be where we needed to be. In California or Wisconsin, if I said I have an interest in this parcel and I want to know if anything happens to it, I would be notified. In Little Rock, I was not notified. After we beat back the city once before. And we said, if anything ever happens there, we want to know about it. And, oh, sure, we will. It did not happen. And it was an oversight because there's not that much staffing, and it's something that happens in this neighborhood department, and the neighborhood department's not part of the planning department. The end result is the developers know what's going on, and the average citizen does not. And so the average citizen feels disenfranchised. And in that process is the undoing of land use planning as an activity that's rational. And it becomes more arbitrary and more beneficial to a specific group, whether it's a developer or some proponent. The other thing the city does that's really irritating to a person who's a planner from another community is when I bought my house, I noted what the land uses were and the undeveloped parcels in my neighborhood. What are the land uses west of me? It's all forest. He was right. I had no illusions. That forest is going to be developed. What will it be developed to? Little Rock has an R2 designation. In my world, R2 says low-density residential. In Little Rock's world, it means to be determined in the future when someone makes an application. And it could be almost damn near anything. That makes owning a home in Little Rock scarier as an investment. And the more we scare people out of investing in Little Rock, the more it hurts all of us. And so I guess what I'm saying is, I understand Larry's concern. I was there with Larry. We were trying to figure this process out together. I might know planning, but I didn't know planning in Little Rock. I've never been involved in a process, and the people who work at the Little Rock Planning Department are great people. They're my friends. I like them. I think we need to figure out how to demand more transparency, but we'll have to pay for it.
Jim, do you want to add to this? Because we've sort of we started touching on this on the radio program, and I know you're familiar with more metropolitan areas here.
Let me reiterate something I said earlier. In a democracy over time, you get exactly the kind of government you deserve. Now, look at how many...
Hang on.
No, it's not a cop. It is not a cop-out. T.S. Eliot said, between the vision and the reality lies the shadow. Well, the fact is that, I mean, we're just public servants up here. We work for elected officials. They work for you. No, and they work for you. Now, if you have a problem with the city of Little Rock, then you go to the city board of directors. The same people have been elected to the city board of directors almost without opposition for years and years and years. So obviously, the majority of the citizens of the city are satisfied with what they're getting, or you or somebody else would be running against them. Now, I'm not, I work for these folks. I'm not encouraging, a revolution here. But the fact is that we can't complain about stuff in a democracy and wash our hands of responsibility as citizens.